What's up, comic book community? My name is Joe, and you're watching 360 Comics. Last weekend, I picked up the biggest collection I have ever purchased, coming in at 30 long boxes, which is approximately 8,000 comic books, and it was full of absolutely incredible surprises. I spent every waking free moment this week combing through this collection, and I've got the 50 or so best keys to show you today, including one big heavy hitter, and of course, I'm saving that one for last, so stay tuned. This video is your last chance to enter the current giveaway for this copy of Man-Thing number 11, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below, and of course, check out our other videos, and then we're going to be really upping the ante for this next giveaway. Not just one, but look at that. 2 slabs were given away. We got Vengeance of Bane number 1, the first appearance of Bane, CGC 9.4 white pages, and Daredevil number 170, first appearance of Kingpin in the Daredevil run, also a 9.4 white pages. These 2 books were actually donated to the channel by a viewer. Thank you, Danny, for this. This is really, really awesome, and I'm excited to give these books away. So make sure, if you want to win these, subscribe to the channel now, turn your notifications on, and I'll be announcing next week how you can win them. Good luck. Just one more quick reminder before we get into this collection, and that is that tomorrow, Saturday, November 19th, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at my house in Glenside, Pennsylvania, I am hosting the second ever Back Deck Comic Fest. There are going to be thousands of comic books available for sale, and I am doing 20 to 50% off everything, with an additional 10% off if you spend at least $222. There's going to be members of the community there selling as well. My buddy Alex from Collecting Dude, Mike Pope of Chillytown, and James from Mint Hunter Comics. So come hang out with members of the community, chat about comics, eat some free food, and maybe leave with some stuff that you really, really wanted. All you have to do, message me on Instagram if you're interested in coming, and I'll send you my address. See you tomorrow. So this is one of those collections that came to fruition because I'm always putting myself out there and letting people know that I'm interested in purchasing comic books. I was doing my normal weekend activity of going to the flea markets on the hunt for comics, and I came across a guy with a table of action figures and other toys and stuff. I didn't see any comics, but I thought maybe, so I asked, and he said, I don't have any with me, but I've got a ton at home, and I'm looking to move them. They're taking up too much space, and I really don't know what is what. So, we exchanged numbers. He let me know it's at least 20 long boxes, and he had gotten them for a really good price, so he was only looking for like kind of a bulk price on everything. Didn't really want to piece it out. So that is a really, really great opportunity to pick up a good collection for not a lot of money. And, I called him the next day, and he let me know basically what happened was he was buying toys from a guy, and the guy said, hey, do you want to take these comic books too? And he was like, I don't really know that. And the guy said, you could take all 20 long boxes for $50. That is an insane price. That's like, I don't even know, a penny, less than a penny a comic book. So this guy ended up getting a steal of a deal, and he was willing to just move it for a steal of a deal as well because, he had only paid $50 into it, and he had already pulled 2 books out to sell. And I'll tell you this got my emotions all over the place because he told me, I pulled out an Amazing Spider-Man 129, the first appearance of Punisher, and Amazing Spider-Man 300, the first appearance of Venom, and I sold them already. And I was thinking like, oh man, I'm bummed about this on one hand because those aren't in there. But on the other hand, I'm excited because if those were in there, there's got to be a ton of other great stuff, including this book that falls right between those two, the first appearance of Hobgoblin. But yeah, anyway, it was a pretty gosh darn solid collection. I made it time to go over there. We kind of flipped through some stuff, chatted for a while. I was at his house for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. Really, really nice guy. We ended up making a deal. And yeah, let's get into the keys that I brought home. All right, let's get into it. Starting off with some Spider-Man, we've got Web of Spider-Man number 118, first appearance of Scarlet Spider. Unfortunately, there is a little tear on the back of that one, but this one is definitely nicer. Yep, there were 2 of them. First Scarlet Spider, definitely a good book, but definitely not as good as this book. I am super excited to finally own this. I never have before. This is What If number 105. First appearance of Mayday Parker, Spider-Girl. She's an alternate universe character, but definitely a really cool one, and I hope she does show up at some point in either the Sony Spider-Verse or maybe even the MCU. Who knows? Then we've got SpiderMan, or sorry, rather Marvel Team Up number 141. This is tied for the second appearance of the black suit. That one is a newsstand. Not that that really matters from that point during the mid 80s. And there was a second copy, a direct edition as well. Speaking of that black suit, Secret Wars number 8, a newsstand on that. Again, not that it really matters. And look at that, a second copy. Now, there were 2 full runs of Secret Wars. That was along with 1 through 7 and 9 through 12 as well. And of course, we're going to have this book here to top it all off, the trifecta. That is the first appearance of that black suit. Moving on to some other ASM keys. This one's a pretty good one right now, given that Madam Web will probably be getting a movie. And unfortunately, it's a Sony movie, but hey, whatever. You saw this one in the beginning. First appearance of Hobgoblin, ASM number 238. And then we're jumping up here to number 299. This is a book that I've actually never owned. I've had 298. I have 300. And never had this one, though. This is the first cameo of Venom, first full appearance of Eddie Brock. It's also the second Todd McFarlane Amazing Spider-Man book. And it is a newsstand, which kind of definitely has a little bit more pull in this late 80s part of the run. We got a Spidey 101, but look at the overhang on that. That is that black line down the left side. That is the back cover that we're actually seeing. This was wrapped pretty poorly. Is a newsstand, though. And then we got ASM number, sorry, I almost said 163. No, this is 361, first appearance of Carnage. And guess what? There wasn't 1. There wasn't 2. There wasn't just 3. Yep, you guessed it. There were 4 of them. 4 ASM 361. Someone was speculating on that character, I guess, at the time. Then we're moving on to some Wolverine, the first Wolverine solo series, limited series. In fact, there were not just one of those, but 2. And they weren't just alone. It was actually 2 full runs. They're 4-issue limited series, so it had 2 copies of each of them. And just to show you here, this is what the other covers look like, just in case you're not familiar with this run. It is a really good one. Frank Miller and Chris Claremont. Great stuff. And then Wolverine number 1 from the ongoing series from the late 80s. The first one was the 92 run. This is the the 82 run. This is the 88 run. And as you see, there are multiples of these as well. That's copy number 3 and copy number 4. 3 of them being newsstands. 3 of them being direct, 1 being a newsstand. This book right here, super popular cover, Wolverine number 8. That one is one of those ones that I am thinking about sending in for grading. Then we got this classic Todd McFarlane cover, Incredible Hulk number 340. And we're moving on to the X-Men. This was the only Silver Age X-Men book in the bunch. Issue number 33. Coincidentally, it's one of the ones that I was missing. I think it's the 4th appearance of Juggernaut, but don't quote me on that. Then we've got some of the Claremont run here. We got the first appearance of Dazzler in issue 130. First appearance of Dark Phoenix, issue number 134. We got the second appearance of Dark Phoenix, which is, I guess, the first full cover appearance. Really great classic cover. And we've got issue 141. This is the first book of the Days of Future Past. Has a ton of first appearances, probably most notably Pyro. I guess that's probably the most important character there. We got the first appearance of Gambit in X-Men Annual 14. Yes, that is the first appearance of Gambit. A lot of people think it's 266. Don't get those mixed up. Although 266 does have a higher price tag because it's a way better cover. We got Avengers Annual number 10, the first appearance of Rogue. That's a newsstand, not that that really matters, from the early 80s. And a second copy. This one is a little bit junkier condition-wise. Normally, this next book wouldn't have really made the cut, but it's a newsstand. Spawn number 9, first appearance of Angela. I said that really weird. Angela. And there were 2 copies of that in there. The other one I put aside for a friend, though. We got Usagi Yojimbo number 1. Extremely happy to find that. I've been wanting it for my personal collection for a while, and have never found it in the wild. We got The Killing Joke, first printing with the green text. Classic story by Alan Moore. We're into the DC stuff now, clearly. Vengeance of Bane number 1. That's going to be part of my next giveaway, a 9.4, but that is just a raw copy. We got Doorway to Nightmare, number 1, first appearance of Madame Xanadu. Definitely some spec on that character with Justice League Dark. And then we got this book right here, Teen Titans Go, number 23, first appearance of Red X in comic books. This is one that's real hard to find, and those diehard DC fans are always looking for it. I'm not sure. I might keep that in my PC, though. Batman 423, and it's a newsstand, this classic Todd McFarlane art. Shame I missed the signing, but this isn't super high grade or anything. And then the last of the DC books, we got Batman Beyond, number 1. Now, this is the giveaway version. I think it was Free Comic Book Day. It's doesn't have any barcode or symbol at the bottom. It's a blank UPC box. That's the way you can tell. So I think this was like considered the second printing. And then the third printing would be that Six Flags version. All right, back to some Marvel stuff here with G.I. Joe number 1, the direct edition from the early 80s. And look at that, a newsstand as well. It was really interesting. There were a lot of books that there was a direct and a newsstand copy. Not sure why. This is another great G.I. Joe book to look out for. This is the silent issue. Really hard to find that one. A lot of collectors scoop it up, I guess. And then G.I. Joe number 155, the final issue. Very scarce, low print run. Quite a pretty penny. Those are really the 3 G.I. Joe books you want to look out for, the 3 most expensive. Then we got a Nova number 1. I actually missed this the first time through. It was the bag it was in was stuck to another book, and I almost just passed it up. And then we got Captain Marvel. No, not number 1, but it's Marvel Superheroes number 1. Captain Marvel's first appearance. That is the male version of Captain Marvel, not really used in the MCU. We got some more cosmic stuff. Marvel Premiere number 1. This is where Warlock, I believe this is where he gets the name Warlock. Yeah, I think that is the key significance of that book. First solo. This right here is Marvel Spotlight number 6. This is the first appearance of Star-Lord in comics. He does have a magazine or graphic novel appearance before that. That one is spoken for already. That's going to a friend of mine who collects Guardians stuff. Speaking of, Guardians of the Galaxy's first appearance and Marvel Superheroes number 18. Tough book to find, especially in higher grade, because it is a square bound book. That is definitely a big one to look out for. Very happy to find that in there. We got Tomb of Dracula 25, first appearance of Hannibal King. You always got to look at the back of this book when you find it. If there's an ad for Stridex face wipes, that is a 90s reprint. This one, fortunately, is the real deal. Then we got War Machine number 282, or sorry, I always say that. Iron Man number 282, first appearance of the War Machine armor. I always get thrown off by the spray paint over the name. And then we're on to some Punisher here. This is the first solo Punisher book. Issue number 1 of the limited series. This one I'm very excited about and is probably staying in the PC. Marvel Superheroes number 20, the first solo Doctor Doom story. Holy moly, that's a tough book to find. And on to the very last one, the biggest book. You ready for this? Hulk 180. First cameo appearance of Wolverine. Could not believe that this was in there. And in fact, it was hidden a little bit. There was a bunch of stuff that was like kind of put down the sides of the boxes, like magazines and posters and stuff like that. And this was found by my buddy Mike, who he found the envelope and this was in there. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, he wouldn't tell me what it was at first too. He was like, it's something big. He said there was another book behind it. And I got really, really excited and was thinking it was a 181. And guess what? It was a Spawn one behind this book. There were two books in a manila envelope. This was the first one, and right behind it was a Spawn one. So kind of funny there, but ended up being a good story. But yeah, Hulk 180. And shout out to my buddy Mike and my buddy Alex for helping me sort this collection. Yeah, that's a big one. That is definitely a big one, and it's the first time that I have ever owned that book. As you can see, this was a great purchase, and I hope to do more business with this guy in the future as he acquires more comic books. He said he's definitely going to let me know if he has anything to get rid of. That being said, this was only a portion of the collection. I'm going to be back next week with another video of some of the weirder stuff. Not as valuable, not as high-end, not as sought after, but some of the weird stuff, including some signed books, some indie books, some hard-to-find books, things like that, that I'm going to share with you. So stay tuned for that video. And, you know, if you're around this weekend, like I said, Backdeck Comic Fest is at my house. Message me on Instagram for my address. If you can't make it to that, that's okay. I'll be back next week with more claim sales live on Instagram, so make sure you follow there. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.